two shows that I did elicited a response from a devoted watcher, listener of the Politics Done Right show. Specifically, one of the shows was called Analysis of the Luigi Mangiani Attack. Americans and also American want guaranteed health care. The other show had to do with why Kamala Harris lost. Now, we many times talk about people voting against their own interests. And one of the things that I constantly say is that a democracy required an educated population. And what Republicans and neoliberals have been trying to do over the last several decades was to make America dumber. And that's by design. As Americans became smarter, they realized that why are we supporting policies? Why are we doing all the work? Why are we doing all the innovations? Why are we making this country go forward if just a 1% of the people who do absolutely nothing, who I generally call parasites, because they don't know how to produce anything. They don't have the minds to create anything, yet because they understand the structures of capitalism, they are the ones who make all the mass quantities of money. Look, there are exceptions of some billionaires who actually have a modicum of smartness, engineering, science, or whatever, but most of them don't. Again, most of them don't have the intellect of the products that have made them rich because, again, others have made them rich. Now, when I did the story about Luigi Mangiani, I wanted to make sure the context was right. In other words, we are not out there supporting that people go against those capitalists that are ripping them off or that are denying them their health care, etc. We're not doing that. But we're saying we can understand that if you have executives who are effecting policies that harm a lot of people, don't be surprised if some people react to that. And that is what this listener who sent me an email was trying to articulate. And she wanted to show that, well, I while I'm not advocating that, I understand what Luigi Mangiani did. But then she sent a subsequent email after I asked her if I could include what she said into one of my blogs. And she went on with a storyline that, to put it bluntly, warmed my heart. This is a Republican woman. And she starts, I am a Republican. She didn't say she renounced her republicanism or anything. She is a Republican who says that she hasn't voted for a Republican president since she voted for Clinton. In other words, she could isolate her republicanism for what was in her best interest. And it gave me that warmth that is what we are trying to promote. Those are the people we want out there. Those people that say, you know what, culturally, I'm a Republican, but ideologically, I believe in the things for humanity. And that means I vote for those politicians who support humanity. And generally, those politicians who support humanity, I'm sorry, this is just a statement of fact based on policies, are not conservative politicians. In Texas, we have these conservatives voting against the Medicaid expansion to the Affordable Care Act, which gets their own citizens killed. We have very many politicians who continuously vote against SNAP, even as we have starving children around the country in many of their own districts. So this woman was able to separate all these particular feelings within her psyche, that she's a Republican, that she believes in vouchers, that she believes in that COVID-19 shouldn't have required a closing down of the economy. I disagree with her on vouchers and the COVID stuff, but then she agrees with supporting of the CHIPS Act, supporting of the policies that Biden put out there to help people, to make people's lives better. So all in all together, because she is a thinking Republican, I shouldn't even just say thinking Republican, because she's a thinking voter. She is able to make the right choices, even as her cultural attachment to the Republican Party and some of its tenets are at odds. I mean, I found it fascinating the way she expressed herself. I found it fascinating that if you were just to read her words and forget that she is a Republican, right? And the way she expresses herself, you'd say, well, I mean, there's something very progressive about her. She's against big pharma, big agribusiness, which is why she liked Robert Kennedy. She supports. She didn't want the system closed down with COVID-19 because she was thinking about people going to work and supporting their families. But again, victim of a media that doesn't quite inform. She support vouchers. Did she know that vouchers pretty much only help rich people? It is a way for rich people to buy their Mercedes and all of these other things on taxpayer dollars with the monies that otherwise they wouldn't get because their kids are already in private schools, and that most of the people who would really benefit from vouchers, the problem is really systemic, and that it starts with the family and not with the schools. I mean, there's so much deeper when it comes to vouchers. There's so much deeper when it comes to whether you should shut down for a pandemic or not, that the media failed to exercise their ability to inform, to educate. So I can't blame V. That's how I refer to this woman who contacted us. I can't blame her for the way she broke down COVID, the way she broke down vouchers. But altogether, she put that all into context. She put vouchers into context. She put she put the CHIPS bill into context, infrastructure bill into context. She put all these things into context and say, what would best help Americans? Now, Trump, who is the perfect triangulator, I've been talking about Trump being a triangulator from 2016 when he triangulated to win the Electoral College. Of course, since he was in office, the triangulation didn't work because, again, he failed. But what he did as soon as he was over with his coup, he started the alternate state of reality to convince many Americans that things that they're seeing are not what they're seeing, that things are getting better is not what they're seeing, that the rich is getting richer is not what they're seeing. He's convinced them of that, and he's also convinced the working class that he, the billionaire, and all his billionaire friends would be the fighters for the middle class, for the working class. She, because she's educated, because she made herself understand the concepts, was not bought by that triangulation. But Trump, if you want to know why Trump voters vote, many of them who shouldn't, the way they are, listen to what this woman has to say in the article when she talks about these other issues, and realize what Trump did. He supported what she thought she believed in COVID. He supported what she thought she believed in vouchers. He supported what she thought she believed Robert Kennedy would bring to the FDA and the entire health department. So by picking off enough people here and there, triangulation is what he did. He couldn't get 50% of the people, of course. Because again, most of Americans are still smart. But he was able to get enough to win a very small 1.5% popular vote advantage and a substantive electoral college win. Because again, there were other factors, of course, racial factors, gender factors. But if we had most Americans in the modal of V, who was able to take all the things into perspective and make a rational choice based on what's best for her, we would have a better country and would have elected the right person. So again, read the accompanying article that's in the Substack article that I wrote with this. It's where it has all the letter exchanges with her. It's in the description for this video. And I think you're going to find it intriguing. You can check it out at my Substack, which is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. But again, it's going to be the direct link to the article that I wrote is in the description of this video.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.